What if I told you that we can determine or speculate where price is going to? Imagine what that is going to do to you, most especially going into today's price action with an understanding of what you think the forex market will be doing on the larger, bigger scale. And that is why I'm here. All right, so what we are going to go over in this video is to come up with a directional bias for today on the forex market. And also, we are also taking our time to look at the crypto market and the like of BTC USD, where we'll be looking at the general market standpoint on the daily time frame to get an idea of where we think BTC is heading to in the subsequent months, ranging from now till the end of the year. With that intro, I urge you to sit back, relax as we jump straight into the chart to dissect it and observe what is going on there. Before we do that, first of all, we'll do a small recap on the speculation we had on Friday before market closed for the weekend. If you guys are wondering where we speculated that, there was a video I made on Friday last week, and of course all of them are on my social media platforms, and you can pretty much go there to watch them on FX Adventure, both on YouTube, Facebook, and also on Instagram. We do this every day, so remember to subscribe, like, and share as we get down to the DM. All right, so today we can see a lot of price action that happened in the night coming into this morning. All right, but like I said, let's have a look on what happened on Friday. So on Friday, I remember I said that I was bullish on DXY, and the reason why I was bullish on DXY is the fact that we've been swiping liquidities on this low. All right, I remember I pointed out something initially about this guy being a double bottom. All right, this was on Thursday last week. All right, this bottom here and this bottom, arguably we can say they're double bottom. All right, and after price swiped this liquidity by this whole move that came right down there, you can see that price did what? Gave a pullback into some sort of a gap here, but I think that gap is already filled up, so I'll remove this drawing. So after price pulled down, we saw a pullback up here. All right, so ideally, if price is meant to continue selling off, then the next move that came here, this was on Thursday, you can see it should be taking out that low, right, to trade further down. That is if price really wanted to continue selling off. But you can see that on Thursday, which I've already done this recap, but I'm just doing it for the sake of the guys that have not been following my content. You can see that was an attempt, and you can even see some of my drawings are still there. You can see there was an attempt of price coming down. All right, when it did came down, if you look at the PD of this guy here, you will see that it basically went at the midpoint of it, which is the PD array of that point. You can see that red line that I just pulled out there right now. You can see how that aligns properly. Immediately price came down, it kept on bouncing on that line, which is the midpoint of that particular guy there. All right, it kept on bouncing. Then after, price reversed back and started trading up towards the night that brought about Friday. So that was what made me say that on Friday I expect market to buy. But there is a caveat to that, and the caveat to that is that I remember I said, you can go to the video, I said for that to happen, we expect two moves. The first move will be for price to pull back down, first of all, before then finding that reversal setup that will now take us into that bullish trend that we presume to happen on Friday. All right, the pullback came in, but eventually Friday lost the steam to go back up. But you can see something happening this morning, and I want to point it out for you guys. What is happening this morning is price on Monday morning opened with a huge gap here. All right, remember the storyline. You know how I came up to these points. That's very important that you remember the storyline. All right, remember Friday sell off, which is okay because that was part of our expectation. The next expectation will be after the sell off, give us a reversal for the buy. Okay, now we can see some level of buy coming into here throughout the night, and there's also an opening gap here. All right, so what do we assume to happen? I'm of the opinion that, of course, the buying would continue for today. All right, and I also pointed out that there is an opening day gap also on Friday, not Friday, I mean to say Wednesday, the opening day for Wednesday last week, which is this gap here. And that was the gap that I said that on Friday that price is aiming to go fill it up, or at least fill it up before there's any other action taken. All right, and I'm of still the opinion that price will of course eventually trade into that gap. So this is my speculation for DXY. Long story short is I expect the buying pressure to continue this morning. All right, two things are going to happen. All right, just to give you context so you can have some expectation, because we just don't come here to give you the directional bias, we also give you the conditions and things that we expect. All right, so the expectation coming into this morning is, now we've seen the opening day gap for today, this week, because today is Monday, of course. This is the starting weekday for this week, and we have an opening gap there. Our bias is for a buy, and everything aligns properly. Okay, so what we expect is, of course, a level of pullback. If they can get into that gap they created today, that would increase my confidence level, and of course this is what I'll be looking for. Okay, so what do I mean? Price trade down into that gap, then of course reverse back up to take out that opening day gap I just pointed out that was created last week Wednesday start. That is the ending of Tuesday and the start of Wednesday for last week. Okay, all right, so that is what I envision here on DXY. And of course, for the guys that have always been following my channel, you don't get confused when I spend more time looking at DXY, because if I have an understanding of what's happening here on DXY, which is the dollar index, I pretty much have an idea of what to expect in other major forex pairs in the likes of Euro USD, British Pound USD, Aussie dollar USD, gold, S&P 500, blah 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 ship, have you any wool. All right, so that's the expectation for today being Monday 11th of May 2026. So that's the move. The next move, which is maybe might not be so much necessary to expect that for a price, but it's still possible because anything can happen in markets. Okay, so what do I expect? Maybe price might have to trade back down into that red line, which is the midpoint that price used in holding as support. That was for Thursday last week. So my expectation will be, if price would trade below it to take out those liquidity, then immediately of course bounce back up to start pushing us back up. So those are the two moves I expect this morning. All right, those are the two moves that I expect this morning. Anything outside of this obviously would not grab my attention that much, because of the fact that I already have an expectation. And one thing about having expectation or speculation, not expectation, I have to correct that, speculation, because when you expect things, you don't have to be deterministic on that. You have to keep an open mind, because price can be fluid, price can do a lot of things. All right, but at the same time, I want to use the right word. The right word is not for you to expect, but rather for you to speculate and have an open mind to be able to either adjust or avoid playing a game or playing in a price action that doesn't align with what you expect. All right, so you always have to learn how to react with the market the right way and have a good expectation from the market. And once price is giving you those expectations, then you will know that okay, price is either aligned with you to some level. All right, but if you are just going in there without no plan, you just que sera, whatever will be, whatever price does, you react to it. If you do that, you will be dealt with, because price will always want to show you the wrong move while doing the other. So be guided out there and make sure you have good plans on how you intend to attack the market. Without wasting further time, we will touch down on BTC, because of course I told you guys we'll be looking at BTC also. But on BTC we would have to do this one a little bit different, and the different in this one is we'll be looking at the daily time frame. All right, because our analysis on BTC is more or less trying to understand the bigger picture. So I know a lot of people are saying that BTC is now in a bullish trend because it has moved from, I think, 60k to 80k. That's a reasonable amount of move, if you ask me. All right, it's a reasonable one. Is it from 60k? Yeah, I think it's from 60k. Yeah, 60k. That was the last low we saw on February 2026, and since then we've seen price gradually trade up. But one thing I want you to see in this price action on the daily time frame, you will see they are tightly played. All of the candle there is not much FVGs or anything of sort. So there is high probability that this is BTC building liquidity that they will take out eventually in the future. And of course, I am of the opinion that I don't know how possible this is, but like I said, in price action, anything is possible. Remember, this is on the daily time frame, so whatever speculation I'm giving you now would take years or months. All right, it will take months for sure, maybe years, depending on how price moves. Okay, so what I envision is we can envision price to maybe come close to 100k, trade up to 100k or 90 something depending. All right, and if I should pull out my drawing to get the midpoint of this particular quarter here, which is the Q1 of this year, so this is the Q1 of this year, you can see price is actually trading at the midpoint. So it's a very critical point. I think there will be a huge sell-off on BTC eventually on the daily time frame, on the bigger time frame, on the bigger grand scheme of things. I don't think BTC is buying to start taking out the previous day, the previous historical high, which is around 120 something k. I am of the opinion that we will experience a lot more sell-off on BTC, and the sell-off is going to be a very healthy one for the people that want to buy more lows. All right, I don't know how possible this is, but if BTC can get anywhere close to 20 something k, best value you will get in the market, and that is where I would want to start playing. All right, that is where I would want to start engaging on a longer term. That doesn't mean you can't trade BTC on an intraday trading level, but I'm talking of investors, people that look at 5 years, 2 years, 4 years, 10 years. All right, so if you're looking at that angle, this is not the right time to buy BTC. I think you should just chill, take a chill pill, relax, allow price to do its thing. But I'm of the opinion that eventually there is more sales that will be coming down on BTC, and there is high chances that we might even get to, of course, what's that level again? 24k, 25k, thereabout, but at least 20k downwards. Let's just keep it at 30. So anything around 30 downwards. 30 is like 30, 29, 28, 27k, 26, 25, blah blah blah, etc, etc. Those are good levels that I would say very good point to start buying BTC. Well, with that said, guys, that's my promise for you guys on this particular video. I gotta go right back now, and of course, remember, if you love the content we do here, like the video, share, and if you want more insights on what we do here, I actually have a community on Discord that I'm building, and of course I do live streaming also. With that, hope you guys do have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys in my next video. For now, bye bye, take care, and remain blessed. Be careful out there. Trade responsibly. Bye for now.